What's going on, everyone? How you doing? Ron here with TechTipsToGo. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Binance. I think Binance is going to do a 10 to 15, maybe 20x. Who knows? In the bull run, in the peak of the bull run, I'll probably do 100x because of what's coming and because of the changes with Google's ad policy. So before we get into the video, please subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. So let's get into the video. All right, this is big news. Big news for cryptocurrency, big news for us, big news for retail investors, big news for institutions, etc., right? Because this is going to mean mass adoption. Google is revamping its ad policy for crypto exchanges and wallets. So let's briefly go over this. I'm going to put the link in the description below. Google is expanding the scope of its crypto-related advertising policy, the latest development in years-long back and forth from the tech giant. So in a policy statement published Wednesday, Google said that beginning August 3rd, advertisers offering cryptocurrency exchanges and wallets targeting the United States may advertise those products and services when they meet the following requirements and are certified by Google. So to qualify, exchanges and wallets need to be duly registered with FinCEN, blah, 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 etc. But to add this last statement that I highlighted, basically in March of 2018, Google made waves. Basically, they banned crypto from advertising. Pretty much every ad, anything that had certain keywords in it, crypto, exchanges, and more was removed from its search engines. And followed by that, it was actually Facebook that took the same shift and approach. You could even notice, like when you post Instagram images or any Facebook related to crypto, sometimes you face these challenges of getting banned or that post not being seen. So why do I think that BNB is going to do a 10x, 15x, or 100x? The reason why is because CZ is probably the richest man in crypto, right? If you look at his exchange, if you look at the liquid of Binance.com, we all know where my favorite yield farming platform is, or where I like to yield farm. That's on Binance Smart Chain. Binance Smart Chain is making a lot of transactions. If you look at the 24-hour volume compared to spot number 2, which is Coinbase, look at this. We're talking about 28 billion compared to 3 billion in 24-hour volume, right? If you look at the visits, the amount of visits from SimilarWeb.com, you could look 138 million compared to 17 million. And the reason why I think Binance is going to grow so much, because they have more advertising dollars to spend. They've got a lot more money to spend on these campaigns on Google. They have a lot more money to spend on retargeting. If you're not familiar with retargeting pixels, etc., if you visit Binance.com, retarget you and follow you all over the internet. If you're not familiar with retargeting ads, basically it's a feature that as soon as you click on a website, if they got a targeting pixel, they're going to follow you on the internet and retarget you every time you go visit Facebook, every time you go to YouTube, or if you go to a Google-owned property, they're going to be able to advertise to you. So it's basically somewhat stealing your data based on your interest and your history. And if you look at this site right here, Buck Knives, this is a Facebook pixel on the top right. You can see that they are tracking me. Look, a Facebook pixel by buckknives.com. So the micro data, so this is basically a Facebook pixel helper. It tells me who's targeting me. And you can see that this is the stuff that's going to happen. Now that Binance and the big giants can start to advertise, they could put these cookies and Facebook pixels and Google data tracking analytics on you, and they're going to retarget you until you buy, until you land on their page. So that's going to be really big for Binance and these big players who can afford the advertising dollars. Right, it might cost $20 a click, it might cost $30 a click, it might cost $100 a click, but the big boys like Binance and Coinbase and Kraken are probably going to win all of these battles, right? The advertising budget in battle. So that is why I think Binance is going to probably do a 10x, 15x, 100x. Not financial advice, but I think BNB, the coin BNB, is going to go to the roof. Also, another reason why is because if you look at what Binance is doing, they keep acquiring, right? If you're familiar with CoinMarketCap.com, CoinMarketCap.com was acquired by Binance for $400 million in April of 2020, about a year ago. And with the last piece of news for Binance, Binance is actually into the travel industry as well. As you can see, and I didn't know this, that travel soars to 400%. So basically, this was based on the acquisition in May 21st in 2020. So I didn't know that Binance actually purchased them, but in this article it says Travala soars 400% in price post its acquisition by Binance. So what to expect. So basically what Travel does is it gives you the ability to pay for your cryptocurrency with travel. So that's where I think Binance is going to go. If you look at it, it's hovering around 407. And, you know, we had a large amount of dips in the last couple of weeks. Right now, a lot of people in fear. Where do I think the markets are going to go? I think we're going to be going on an uptrend, hopefully, and hopefully we don't start to retrace or get any big pullbacks. But you can see over here on the 14-day. So Binance has been really strong ever since they came out with Binance Smart Chain. A lot more chains, a lot more companies are starting to build upon BSC opposed to Ethereum just because of the fees. They're trying to please their customers because the Binance Smart Chain with BSC, the transaction fees are in the cents, 10, 20 cents. Now, mind you, there are some competitors like Matic. The fees are very cheap. But right now, the trend is BSC, and BSC is here opposed to like all the other chains that are looking at coming up like Polkadot, etc. So it's going to be interesting in the next year or so how everything changes when ETH2 comes out. Well, not in a year, but when Polkadot parachain auctions and slots come out. It's going to be interesting on how the competition is going to be between BNB, Binance Smart Chain, and Polkadot, and then Matic, etc. But if you look at DeFi Station is decentralized finance on the Binance Smart Chain. And if you look at the amount of transactions that PancakeSwap, the leader for spot exchange, they have total value logged to $7.9 billion. And you look at all the other platforms like Venus Lending, 3.43, MDEX, another spot trading platform, Belt Finance, Pancake Bunny I use a lot, it's 1.2 billion. AutoFarm was about 1.4 billion. They kind of went down about 900 million. But if you look at the amount of liquidity locked up, it's amazing, 27.29 billion. And like I said last year, decentralized finance, when Binance Smart Chain wasn't even around, DeFi was still big last year. I remember making a video last year in 2020, and we were hovering around 5 to 600 million. Look, in 2020, we were about 600 million locked up in DeFi. Now we're talking about Binance Smart Chain having about 27 billion, 27.29 billion. So that's why I think Binance is going to be a huge leader in 2021, 2022 and beyond, just because of these ad changes from Google. So that's why I think this is going to be so big, because like I said, the big players like Binance, CoinMarketCap is going to probably retarget you. Binance is going to retarget you. So you're going to be followed all over the internet. And like I said, the big players like Binance are going to be probably the leaders that will drive a ton of users to their platform. Like I said, they're going to track you with a Facebook pixel. Because right now, yes, this is for Google. Google is going to lift up the bans because the number one search engines or platforms are YouTube, Google and YouTube are the same thing, owned by the same company. And then you got Facebook, right? I know many of you guys aren't on Facebook, but those who search the internet most likely has a Facebook tracking pixel on it, and they're just going to track you by any Facebook owned property, right? Whether that's Messenger, etc., right? The same thing with Google. Google has thousands of properties that they own, and they're just going to retarget you until you actually buy. So that's why I think Binance is going to be a leader. Also Coinbase, etc. But that's it for the video. If you like it, comment, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next one.